really cool story.
Thank you. Clue. That's not a cool story. You want to explain?
You know what it is.
You know what it is.
You know it. This is the Summit Game Box tier list.
And do you want to explain what the game box is?
No, who has to explain Game Box? Come on, man.
It means a box full of games.
It's pretty self-explanatory.
Everybody should know.
I'll say that it's probably
that
pretty.
It's exactly. But do you want to explain the significance of this game box?
Game Box was born out of a need to carry games around for game nights, actually.
Yeah. Okay.
And it kind of formed. I bought a big old box, and I started putting games in it. The games I liked playing. You know, games get removed, games get added. Whenever we tend to like certain games, we tend to start playing other games. And so here we are.
It's and we're creating a riveting story.
Riveting story. We're creating a tier list for Game Box.
The Game Box that is in its current incarnation, correct?
Yes.
The game box that we and all of our friends play.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this game box does have a slight tilt towards games I like. So, I'm not going to place that many games in a low tier because...
Well, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah, that's what you're here for.
Yeah.
Your voice of reason.
Balance it out. Exactly.
But before we get into Game Box, we need to update on the Daniel Power Rankings.
Oh, yeah, the Daniel Power Rankings. Because with our group of people, there are at least 4.
There's 4 Daniels.
Maybe 5 Daniels?
4.5.
4.5 Daniels.
We'll get into that. So first off, we have Daniel Dawson.
Yeah, Daniel Dawson. The newest Daniel to our group, but I've known him for about 5 years now.
I've known him for about 5 days now. So it's been pretty good.
We have enough, between us, we have enough experience.
We average about 2.5 years, so I've probably known him about 2.5 years.
Yeah, exactly.
He's number one on the Power Rankings. He came. Yep. Normally, he's just a guest. He normally makes guest cameos.
Yeah.
Very good performance last week.
Yeah. Excellent.
I was there to witness it. Strong performance. I hope he becomes a regular next season. I really hope he becomes. That would be amazing.
That would actually, I would really enjoy that. I think he brings an added presence. I think he really strengthens the core ensemble of Summit.
Yeah. Number 2 on the Power Rankings was Daniel P.
Yes, Daniel Powell.
I mean, how can we not put him number 2?
He's from California.
He's from California. He's tall.
He's tall. Exactly.
He's wholesome.
He's wholesome. That's what everybody calls him.
Yeah. So I mean,
his poker face has improved a lot since we've known him.
It has improved. He's solid at some of these games in the game box.
That's true.
Number 3 is Daniel B.
Do you want to say who Daniel B is?
Daniel Bennett.
Yeah.
As in Legends.
As in you.
As in me. Oh yeah. I'm number 3.
Yeah,
so I have myself number 3 on the list. I thought I'd put in a solid performance. Little off on leading, but I don't know. I played disc golf all week and it kind of showed in some ways.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Fourth is Daniel A.
Daniel, you want to try to pronounce his last name?
No, you definitely don't want to pronounce his last name. But Daniel A. 4th. Rumor had it he was just laying on the couch at one point, out of pure exhaustion.
Pure exhaustion.
Not a good
because
look.
He's a public school teacher and a coach, and he gives a lot of time to students and stuff that he cares about. And
does not factor in this power rankings. Sorry.
It's true.
Sorry, you have to come to perform.
It's a good point.
In last place, and I don't see how this guy can get out of last place. Is Mark Daniel Yox.
Yeah, I mean he's just a constant disappointment, really.
Well, I mean his middle name is Daniel.
Yeah, he's not even a true Daniel.
No. He can legally change his name.
Yeah.
I mean,
and he just hasn't taken the initiative.
He is not. He needs to still go by Mark. That's fine, but then he'd be a true Daniel at that point.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people should change his name to Daniel.
Yeah.
Could you imagine the name Daniel Davis?
Daniel Davis. That would be, I think my parents considered Daniel Davis. I don't know how they felt about alliteration, but Daniel Dawson does alliteration, and he's number 1.
Yeah. Daniel Davis, I don't know if I could ever put him below, like, second on the power rankings, because
it's a good point.
He could literally fall asleep in the middle of, like, service, and I would still be like, his name's Daniel Davis.
I mean, it's a
really
solid name.
Yes.
You know what it is. Yeah, exactly.
But here we are. We're about to get into our Game Box tier list.
Yes.
So starting out, what do we got to start out?
First off, we have Chameleon.
Oh, Chameleon.
Now, Chameleon, I'll say, is a game that I played even before it was on the Game Box. It was a game that me and many friends from high school used to play together. It has a lot of really fond memories for me. I enjoy Chameleon. However, the gameplay is kind of repetitive.
It is a little repetitive, and in terms of, I think we should judge things based on how accessible they are to different skill levels, how likely you are to be able to play it over and over and over again. how long or how short a game can be, things like that, which
Yeah.
can boost
That's a good point.
it. Chameleon was not. I had never played it before this group.
Really? Wow, okay.
I'd never
Surprising.
played it, so it's I think the only game on this list that I'd never played before this group.
It's good to know.
But I don't think it's very repeatable.
Yeah, I'm afraid I have to agree. I mean, we played it when I was in high school. We played it maybe 2 or 3 times, and then it kind of sat on the shelf.
Yeah.
We brought in new games that had a lot more replay value.
Yeah.
I think Chameleon, it's solid, it's fun. Maybe on the lower end of B tier, in my opinion.
I would have gone straight C, honestly.
Straight C.
I would have gone straight C.
C for Chameleon.
C for Chameleon. C from Chameleon. That'll work.
I'm okay with
Yeah.
Chameleon in
Okay.
C tier. High C tier, but C tier.
That's fair.
It's not.
That's fair.
It's fun the first 2 or 3 times, then loses its.
Just give it a little break. Give it some time, and you can come back to it.
Exactly. You can come back into the fold.
Yeah.
Next is just dice.
Just dice. Because
Yeah,
in
because
Game
who
Box,
doesn't
there's a
love
huge
dice?
thing of dice in there, and
Yeah.
and here's the argument for dice.
Okay.
There's a lot of different games you can play with dice,
It's true.
like Perudo,
Never heard of it.
like Yahtzee,
Never heard of
like
it.
Liar's Dice.
Never heard of it.
Well, maybe we should play some dice more often.
Maybe we should.
Yeah. Get you out of a sticky situation. Say, if I want to go this way, roll. It's like drawing casting lots.
Okay.
Yeah, you can
Good.
cast.
Yeah,
It's
awesome.
got some
Wow.
biblical implications. So you can cast lots.
You can
because-
cast, exactly. I know when I was trying to fend off an attacker in the street the other day, and I had some dice in my pocket, I threw them at their face.
Yeah.
And the dice were successful in delivering me to safety. So I think that puts dice S tier.
No.
No?
I would say dice is a solid B tier. I mean, whenever I bring them out, it kind of is a roll of the dice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good pun.
Yeah.
Good pun.
It's a horrible pun. But I would say B. I honestly was going to put a B tier.
Okay. You know what? Not to just continually agree with you, because I'm sure we'll disagree later. But
I just S tier's got to be something special.
that's true. I know there's at least one game on here that you consider something special.
I think there's only one game on here that I would consider S tier straight up. I don't think it's the one you're thinking of, honestly.
Really?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess we'll see when we get there. Up next is Backgammon, which I have played and was featured prominently on the TV show Lost, which is one of my favorite TV shows. So, feeling pretty good about Backgammon.
I tried to play Get Backgammon once.
Yeah? How'd it go?
I was so lost. I felt like Oceanic Flight 815, actually.
Wow. Yeah. I think we've all been there before.
Personally, I'm sure it's a great game.
Yeah.
2-player game, if I'm not
Two-player game.
mistaken.
You were correct.
I mean, I guess you play teams, I guess, but who cares?
But another thing about Backgammon is, I mean, it is a 2-player game. It's not very inclusive. You know, it's a pretty exclusive game.
Yeah.
But it does have replay value.
Okay.
I'm feeling B tier on Backgammon.
I was gonna go. Before we had this conversation, I was gonna go straight D tier, honestly, on this, because
Yeah?
I had no idea how to play backgammon.
Yeah?
And I just have it in there because it's in a free pack with chess and checkers. But
Fair enough.
if you want to put it in B tier, put it in B tier.
We'll go. I'm feeling B tier for just in honor of
B for backgammon.
B for Backgammon, C for Chameleon. By that logic, do we have to do D for dice? Or?
No, we can't do that. We can't do that because there's so many other C's, B's, and A's over here that I don't.
That's true.
I don't think so.
All right, Battleship. Battleship is it's a childhood game. You know, it's
a classic
It's a
game.
classic.
You're saying childhood like it's something to be mocked.
Well, not something to be mocked. Maybe something to, well, you know, when we become men, we are called to leave behind childish things.
Yeah.
And in my mind, Battleship, while fun as an 8-year-old, is maybe a childish thing. It doesn't require a ton of skill. It's purely luck. I mean, maybe a little bit of skill in terms of placing your ships, but I don't know.
Maybe that's the draw though.
Yeah?
I mean, how many of these games require no skill? I mean, there's a little skill in just Battleship.
Maybe a little bit.
I see where you're coming from. Where do you think you have that Battleship?
I'm feeling C tier on Battleship.
That's fair. That's very fair. I'm not sure we're going to put anything in D tier, honestly.
I don't know. I've never played some of these games. I
Okay.
could just really, really despise them based on the name alone.
Okay. And what's the name of the next game?
I have to make sure I say this correctly, otherwise your family's gonna ridicule me for the rest of time.
We already are. I'm just
Yeah.
going to let you know. We
Catan?
already are.
Catan.
Catan.
Dang it.
Settlers of Catan.
Settlers of Catan. This is the one that I figured you might put an S tier because you are at one point were nationally ranked in
Nationally
Catan.
ranked. So this might be the reason it shouldn't be S tier, because I was able to get nationally ranked.
Okay, fair point.
But Catan has some flaws.
I agree.
I don't think it's actually very repeatable.
I played it once in Auburn and once with some people at the Super Bowl party.
Yeah.
And you know what? Neither time was I super into it.
Yep.
I mean, I can see the appeal. It doesn't appeal to me personally.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I feel about Catan.
Yeah. I think it's decent skill. It's a classic game. I think it can be no lower than B, but I'm okay if you put it in B. I'm honestly, I mean, it only has
compromise. I'll put it in B, but I'll put it above Dice and Bag.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay. It has a limited number of players you can do. You have the expansion packs, which really augment the game, and you can add a lot of things to it. And I think that's what keeps it up in terms of repeatability.
That's fair.
Okay. Next up, we have catchphrase.
Catchphrase, all-time classic.
All-time classic. And not only that, but there's no limit to how many people can play this game.
Absolutely, it's incredibly inclusive.
Other than breaking sound distance that you have to play this game, they're basically, you could wrap it around the church once or twice. That'd be a fun game.
That would be really fun.
That'd be probably a horrible game, but you'd be bored half the time.
But with a pretty good sized group of people, catchphrase can be one of the most fun party games.
Mm-hmm.
I feel pretty good about A tier for catchphrase.
A tier is a solid for catchphrase. Next up, we got Uno.
So I have a question. Is this Uno or is this spicy Uno?
This includes both.
Includes both. Okay.
So you have low, the plebes who just playing Uno by themselves.
Yeah.
They don't do things like have to be quiet, and then we add spicy Uno into the game.
Yeah.
I think it has to include both.
Okay, that's fair. Spicy Uno has. Well, Spicy Uno has some flaws.
Yes.
It gets very competitive very quickly.
Yes.
It gets very intense. Not that regular Uno is not intense, but the ability to stack draw fours on top of people,
Yeah. I do
can ruin some friendships. Is all I'm saying.
There's some other problems with Spicy Uno. Mostly that if you have someone who's just not good at slapping the table fast enough, it kind of nullifies one of the most important rules.
It's true.
It does nullify one of the most important rules right off the bat.
Yeah.
What do you think? I'm thinking low B tier, high C, honestly, on Uno.
On Uno, I agree. It's when you compare it to other card games of this style, like Skip-Bo or Phase 10, it just comes up short, in my opinion.
Okay.
I would give it high C. I'd put it above Chameleon.
Okay, high C?
High C.
Yeah. Well, Pirates here, putting things in high C's.
Good one.
Yeah.
I was thinking Fruit Punch.
That's fair too.
Checkers. I almost said chess. It's checkers.
You know what?
Yeah?
Maybe we should just do it. Maybe checkers belongs in B tier.
Yes.
I'm
not gonna fight you on that one.
I was thinking C, but then I was like, 2 players, and all you have to do is a little hop. Like they take out half the board right off the bat in checkers. Like half the spaces are useless.
Exactly. It's not like you have the incredible playing field you have in chess.
As an engineer, that is incredibly inefficient use of space. So,
nice job sneaking that in there.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's got to be D tier.
All right. You know what? I agree. That AC has been going this entire time.
It has been going. I hope they can hear us.
I really do too.
Because we were, gold.
Yeah. You seen Dodgeball?
Yeah, I have. It's been a while.
Yeah. All right.
Chess.
How do you feel about chess?
Great. You have. It is the highest skill level. There's no luck involved in this game.
I agree.
If you're the better player, you're more likely or not going to win.
They made a really great. They based chess off of a really great TV show, Queen's Gambit. Yeah,
they did.
That TV show was really good. It was so good they made a game out of it.
Yep.
A game that requires such precise skill.
Yep.
A lot of critical thinking, a lot of thinking ahead. It's sometimes too difficult for me. I'll be honest. I've got a lot of other stuff going on.
I think chess has drawbacks with the only 2 players, and then if you have a good player versus a bad player, it's just horrible.
But if you can get a really evenly matched game of chess, it's really fun.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
I think a solid B, high B, maybe even low A.
Yeah, I was kind of feeling low A, honestly.
I'm fine with A. I'm fine with A.
Chess is just, it's classic. It's classic. I remember learning how to play chess in a hostel in Harper's Ferry, West Virginia, when I was camping with my Boy Scout troop one time.
It's a really cool story.
Thank you. Clue. That's not a cool story. Clue. You said at the Super Bowl that Clue is like your favorite game?
No,
Or
no, no,
among
no,
your
no,
favorite
no, no,
games? No?
No. Clue. I grew up on Clue though. I did play a lot of Clue growing up.
Okay.
It's got a movie was made after it. Like
It's true.
that alone, I think puts the B tier at least.
You know, any board game that gets a movie based on it, I think that's a good rule.
Not
It's at
Battleship,
least
though.
B
Not
tier.
Battleship though. Okay, not Battleship.
But the Battleship movie sucks.
Well, that's
You
what I'm saying.
seen
Not
it?
okay.
Yeah.
The movie has to actually have to be like half.
If it gets a movie that has Tim Curry in it,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
that would be my standard. It's at least B tier if it has movie and Tim Curry.
I do think it's not very repeatable in some ways, so I would put this B tier.
I agree. It's it's a game my family and I have played a lot. I'm feeling in between dice and backgammon.
That seems about right.
It's a game my family and I have played a lot. Especially my brother and I like to play 2-player Clue. But it's just after a while it really does lose that initial fun.
Yeah.
That initial magic. All right, we're entering games I've never played before.
This is Coup.
Coup.
Coup. This is a simple game.
Okay, is it like Risk?
It's more like a slight, like a version of. I don't know how to describe it. There's some lying involved,
Okay.
but you have like tokens that you have to earn, and then you try to kill people with those tokens, basically.
Okay. Murder.
Very quick games. You can play them over and over and over again, and you can even have the exact same like characters because it's character based, and you can play 2 very different games. Personally, I would put this one in a high B tier.
A high B tier.
High B tier.
You know what,
Very repeatable.
You convinced me. I think next game night,
Play
I
some
will.
Coup?
I'll push hard for us to play some Coup.
Yeah.
I don't know who I'll have to fight on that one, if anyone.
You can't do game night after game night after game night playing Coup.
Okay. I
But
see.
it can be in the rotation for sure.
Okay. Yeah, well, we give some of our other classics a break. We're
Yeah.
bringing Coup.
Yeah.
Speaking of classics, Exploding Kittens.
Exploding Kittens.
It's just I mean,
What can we say? You have draw from the bottoms. You have attack cards.
exactly.
Imploding
I mean, the
Kittens.
ability to nope someone
Oh,
is
that's the best.
nothing in the world feels better
Yeah.
than noping someone in Exploding Kittens.
Nothing feels better than getting someone else to nope something for you when you have a nope card in your hands.
That's fair.
So
Nothing else feels better than stealing someone else's diffuse when you get a favor.
that's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
That's
I'm
pretty good.
pretty good at it. I'm not like gonna say I'm amazing, but I am pretty lucky when I steal cards from people.
This is the first game I'd consider going S tier.
I was honestly, kind of feeling the same way. It's so repeatable.
Yeah.
It's not exclusive at all.
Yeah.
It has resulted in some of the funniest game nights we've had.
Yeah.
For sure.
Up to 10 players. 10 players is a lot. 10
Yeah,
players is a lot.
absolutely.
So provisionally, I'd put it in S tier.
I think I'm with you. Exploding Kittens is
Exploding Kittens is OP.
really, really enjoyable.
Okay. Next up is Pandemic.
Game's so nice that they based a real world event after it.
They actually did.
I did the same joke twice. You noticed that?
Yeah.
I've never played Pandemic,
Yeah.
but I've heard that it's fun.
It's good. This current version, like the base version, only 4 players can play
Okay,
it.
yeah.
And it's a cooperative game as opposed to every other one of these games where you're fighting against each other. It's a cooperative game.
Okay. I've played cooperative games, played like the Treasure Island or Secret Island game that Garrett has.
It's very similar to that
I see.
game. That being said, not repeatable in my
Yeah?
opinion.
Okay.
Once every blue moon you play Pandemic.
I see.
There's other games that kind of spice it up a little bit, but they're basically the same. I'd put it high C.
All right. You know what?
I'd put it with Pirates in the high seas.
Pirates in the High Seas.
Yes.
With battleships in the high seas.
Yes.
Categories.
What can we say?
Oh, what can we say?
What can we say?
What can we say? Probably my favorite game here.
Yeah.
Telestrations might give it some competition, but I just love categories. I typically win. Typically I win. Usually, yeah. It is exactly what I want from a game because it's not exclusionary. It's so repeatable.
Yeah.
It requires basically just quick thinking and gets a little bit of trivial knowledge. It is, yeah. What can I say? It's my favorite.
It's not quite as repeatable as Exploding Kittens, I don't think.
It's fair. It's fair.
That being said, easy high A.
Easy high. Because I was feeling maybe below Exploding Kittens, but
You can put an S tier. I'm not going to complain.
Okay.
I'm saying I'd be high. No,
we'll have to consider because
We do-
you and I like this game,
I do.
but we know our friend George despises this game.
The haters will say the haters will hate. But
The
you know,
haters will
but
hate.
you
You're
know
right.
who's making this tier list though?
It's you and I.
It's you and I. We're making
Yeah.
this tier list.
George isn't here.
George ain't here. No one else ain't here.
No one's here. Who else
So-
hates this game? Ellie, maybe? I don't
Probably
know.
everyone else.
Probably everyone else.
But we love it.
But exactly.
So we can put S tier. We're
I'll put it below Exploding Kittens. Not as repeatable. It's a good point.
Yeah.
And, not necessarily as open to everyone, but fantastic game. My favorite.
next up is Sheriff of Nottingham.
You've
never played this.
Never
game.
even heard of this before. I've heard of Pandemic.
Yeah.
I've heard of. I guess the other one we got to.
I could,
heard of
I
these
could,
others.
I could tell you the story about how I learned how to play this game, but I wouldn't want to bore you with my terrible stories.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like something that would
This
be
is
really
actually
annoying.
this game is actually based off a historical event that happened in France, I think. Sheriff of Nottingham.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But very solid game. It takes a lot of the elements that have already been played. I think some other games do what this game does better.
Okay.
So this does a lot of lying and then like manipulating people.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
other
you
games
have
do it
that
better.
in you have that in Chameleon. You have that in Among Us, another staple of our
Yeah.
that isn't
Like,
necessarily in the game box.
You
but-
can't contain Among Us.
Yeah.
We can't put.
We can't. We could never put Among Us in here.
No,
It's it's become such a staple of our group's friendship as well.
I would put Sheriff of Nottingham in C tier right next to Pandemic.
All right, you know what? I will. Since I've never played it, I'll lean on you for this one.
Yeah.
I'll trust you.
Yeah. And again, I really like seeing checkers in detail all by itself.
Yeah, I think
actually
that,
gotta-
that feels really good to me. It feels really. It feels
does.
right. It feels
Yeah.
proper.
Yeah.
Telestrations
Ooh.
resulted in maybe the hardest I've laughed all year on
Oh,
New Year's
yeah.
Eve
Yeah.
when a big group of us played it.
Yeah. If you modify the game, you can play with as many people as you want.
Exactly. It is. I have played Telestrations probably the most of any game here, except for maybe Uno,
Yeah.
in my lifetime.
Yeah.
And it has never not been enjoyable to me. It's anybody can play it.
A tier.
You can A tier.
A tier.
A tier above catchphrase.
I put it above catchphrase personally.
I would too.
Yeah.
This feels right to me.
Yeah.
It's not quite S tier.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can really quantify why, but high A tier feels right.
Now cards.
Cards. What are you
This-
thinking like?
This has got to be S tier.
S tier? Okay.
You have 1,000 different games you can play with cards.
That's a
You can
really
play
good
with
point.
One person, you can play with 1,000 people. You can play with just skill-based games. You can play just luck-based games. You can do
True.
every game repeated 1,000 times. Cards have no weaknesses. You can do magic with them. Come on.
It's true. You can do that thing where you like throw them across the room with you.
You could.
You know what? I can't think of a counter argument,
Yeah.
so I guess I have to agree. Above Exploding Kittens? Above Scared.
I put it above Exploding Kittens. It's classic. You can't put cards as not number one. I don't think.
Best card game?
Best card game, Hearts.
Can't say I played it.
Hearts. I love Hearts.
Hearts.
You can shoot
like,
the moon. And you can do. It's a lot of fun.
Okay.
A lot of fun.
Hearts. I know Presidents is one that Will taught me. I know solid game. BS, all-time classic.
Yeah. Child game.
Werewolf.
Werewolf.
Never played this one.
Let me tell you something. This might. I love this game a lot.
Okay.
And I might be really biased, but this is easily an A tier. A tier game.
Interesting.
Games can you can set whatever timer you want. But the best game is just 5 minutes, and you can just play it over and over and over again. You never have a game that's unique. You will never. Not
You will
unique.
never have a game unique? They're
You
all the
never.
same?
Not unique. Not unique.
I see.
So and there's a chance that you play a game where everyone is good and they're all arguing with each other trying to figure out who's the bad person, and they're all actually good.
Okay.
So
All
it's
right.
it's quite intriguing. I say solid A tier, easy.
I will, again, since I have no basis to disagree with you, I'll agree with you, but I will put it here just because I've never played it.
That's fair. That's fair.
Put it below some of these others that I have
Yeah.
played and really enjoyed, Sushi Go, the last one that I have never heard of.
Sushi Go, card-based game. You kind
Okay.
of build it's like a deck, almost like a deck building game, but it's really quick.
Okay,
Um,
sure.
It's based off of sushi, so
I will say, I'm not a big sushi person. I
you
don't...
don't have to eat it.
Okay, well that's encouraging. That's encouraging. Okay.
That being said, not S tier, not A tier.
No. So where does that leave it?
I think it's in B tier next to Clue. I do think it's in B tier next to Clue personally. It has some repeatability issues on that.
Now, I saved this game for last.
This is
for
a tough
obvious
decision.
reasons.
But this is a tough decision. I'm not actually sure where I would put this.
So to explain a little bit, I mean, Secret Hitler is
It's the game.
In our friend group, it is the game.
Yeah.
We play this almost every time, and most of the time it ends up being a super enjoyable experience. I mean,
For most people.
for most people. For most people. Lately, it has kind of, I mean,
It's
has
not
kind
been
of
that bad.
tested the limits, I
But
think. of
here's
Secret
the other
Hitler.
thing: is there's some people who just don't want to play this game.
It's true.
And just period. Some people just don't want to play this game, and I think that is a serious fault. And I think that it is a fault that some people can get sussed out right away, and they just can't play the rest of the game.
It's true.
And that's a major flaw. You could be sitting there for 30 minutes, have nothing to do,
It's true. It's a good point.
which is clearly possible because people are still watching us at this point.
Yeah.
You must have nothing to do.
You must really be be bored and
Yes.
have nothing to
I'm
do with your life.
ashamed
if you're
for you.
Watch us for what, 25 minutes? Come on. Go find something better to do.
Seriously. But
But please stick around to see where we put Secret Hitler.
Yeah.
And then you can leave. Then you get permission.
What do you think?
I don't know, man. I'm kind of feeling A. Maybe a lower A.
I think high A.
High A.
High. I mean, I think it's right between telestration and catchphrase. You can't have those two next to each other. Like,
It's sure they're too similar.
Yeah, they're just
It's
they're
the
past and
ingenuity of
yeah.
Secret Hitler
You
blew
know-
my mind.
Do you know Secret Hitler is based off of historical events too?
Yeah.
Actually, in Russia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True story.
All right. Very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
So,
So you know what, Secret Hitler. Feeling right here.
feeling right there.
It's just, I mean, when I look at this group of friends, like as I kind of, as this group of friends kind of developed, as we started having our game nights with the frequency we did, this was such a staple, such a classic staple.
Yeah.
I think to do it below A tier,
I would-
considering it's the
so
Summit
many-
game box.
So many classic. Maybe we should move to S, just for Summit.
Just S for Summit.
S for Summit, just because.
S for Secret
and not
Hitler.
that it's actually that good a game, like not an S tier level game, but just because of the
Because this
memories.
is the Summit game box tier list,
This
right there.
This is the Summit game box. This is not, Joe Schmo game box.
Yeah. Okay.
This is not anything else. We maybe need to move this to S for that.
You know what? I think that's a good point. I will. How does that feel?
That feels
Just
great.
because it
That
is.
feels good.
It is.
It feels right.
It is this is the Summit game.
Yeah.
We've gotten everybody into it at this point. I think everybody in Summit's played it at least once.
Yep.
This was right.
Yeah.
All right, I will hit
Save?
I'll hit save and download as well.
Cool. Well, thanks for watching, fellas. If you want to, you can.
Fellas and
gals.
And gals.
I
Fellas
say-
and gals.
I say fellas very often to be inclusive. So, but thanks for watching. If you want to make your own tier list, let me know. We can send you the link.
Yeah.
And we can see, we can rank, we can combine everyone's together and see what the community rank is.
That would actually be a really cool idea.
actually
If
pretty
you
good.
have never played so many of these games like me, you should definitely rate them because then we'll have just be chaotic.
It will be pretty chaotic at that point. All right. Stay classy.
Stay classy, San Diego.